Romance and sex are saved for people who are in love. If Meri and I really wanted to be together, we would.
All right, you guys, are you ready for some more Sister Wives? Because season 15 is right around the corner, and you guys, we have so much to talk about. January 21st is the date, and currently this new season is going to start on February 14th. We have been waiting so impatiently for this to start. All year, I swear. Okay, it's only the 21st day of the year, but it's been 10 months since since the family has been on our TV. We have been so desperate for some tea. We only get dribbles on social media, and by far the most actives are Meri and Christine. And so we generally have a decent understanding of what's going on between them, but we also know that this family is so poor at lying. We also know that there's a lot more than what just meets the eye. We also know that sometimes storylines are manufactured, but there seems to be something going on with Meri and Kody. Now, they put out a 2-minute and 40-second teaser for the season, which gives an inside peek about what we can expect.
I was a monogamist and I had one wife. I don't know, maybe it's a fantasy in my part. Let's just go. Let's just go.
Wow.
Where's Robyn?
Some of the things that we're going to be dealing with this season are, 1, what are they going to do with the property on Coyote Pass? 2, the families are becoming
ladies,
more and
you
more
know that
separate
you're
due
pushing
to
for
the
a fight
pandemic,
here.
and Kody basically not seeing the wives as much.
I'm the only one that's going from home to home.
In fact, at one point,
Don't
Janelle
want
asks Kody
to spend
not
the rest
even
of
to
my
come
life
over to
listening
the
to women
house
tell me
because
how
of how
unhappy they are.
contagious things are.
So I suggested to Dad that he maybe not come over.
With Christine wanting more independence, Janelle wanting Kody not around, and then you have Meri Brown in the middle. At the end of last season, Kody Brown and Meri went to therapy, and he basically admitted that the two of them got married really fast, and their marriage was all but done. He even said he regretted marrying her.
Meri and I had a very fast courtship. I didn't know who I was marrying. I am just done with hearing how I am wrong.
He also said that he had been misled. He also said that he didn't know if he wanted to work on it. He didn't know if he was still in love with her. He was sort of over it. It was done. He had a lot of really awful things to say about marriage. So that's how the season ended. They go to the marriage counselor. They have this massive stack of papers, and basically the marriage is at a standstill. Meri wants more, Kody wants less. He's not ready. He doesn't love her. They got divorced in 2015, so I'm pretty sure this marriage has been dead for probably 6 years. But this season, it's going to be more of the push and pull of Meri and Kody. To be honest, I get the sense that these two only try to work on their marriage when cameras are rolling. That's just my opinion. Meri does spend a lot of her time by herself, and I think a lot of it is without Kody and single. And Meri, on her 50th birthday, recently dropped a message to herself, which did not even include her husband or her sister wives. I think moving into this season, we know that there's this massive divide between the sister wives. None of them follow each other anymore on Instagram or social media. So you've got the women that are no longer even friends. They don't want much to do with each other anymore. They are not following each other. They're not encouraging each other. The only two that have any sort of relationship right now seem to be Christine and Janelle, and I have no idea where that relationship is at this point.
Don't want to spend the rest of my life listening to women tell me how unhappy they are.
Kody, for his part, seems to be, again, at this place where he's toying with the idea of monogamy.
I was a monogamist and I had one wife. I don't know, maybe it's a fantasy in my part. But
He also doesn't want to have to listen to the wives fighting.
I need my wives to stop complaining about this divide that we've got in the family.
And Kody finally addresses what's going on between him and Meri. But Meri also has some issues because she's frustrated with the pandemic, and Meri had something to say about her relationship with Kody because of the distance between them.
How can we work on relationships if we can't even see each other to talk to? I can't make him love me.
So knowing that they cannot spend time together, they can't be together, they're separated due to the pandemic, she and Kody cannot actually work on a relationship together. She and Kody are in this place of disconnect. At some point, the two of them go on a date. It appears on a picnic to Coyote Pass to talk about how everything is going in their lives. And while they were sitting down, Meri asked Kody if he would kiss her.
So if I were to lean over and just kiss you right now, would you push me away?
No.
Or so she's asking very coyly, like whether or not he would lean into her, right? Would you kiss me? You know, and he's just like, yeah. You know, he doesn't look comfortable. It doesn't look like it's anything that he wants to do. And you sort of see this imbalance between the two of them of Meri consistently trying to push herself forward and Kody just sort of being like, I don't know, I don't really want this. And it's been like this for 6 years because Meri got involved with a catfish. But Meri got involved with a catfish because he was basically spending all of his time with Robyn. Their marriage, which had been for decades at this point, was over. And they get divorced and it's never been the same since. I think the only reason they stay together is because of the covenant. Kody said that much last year, but it makes me wonder, you know, how this can really be healthy for either one of them. And at some point down the line, they get into some sort of argument because you see Meri having tears down her cheek and she's wiping them. And then Kody talks about his feelings about actually being intimate or romantic with someone.
Romance and are saved for people who are in love. If Meri and I really wanted to be together, we would.
So this leaves a lot of questions here because then one of the final scenes of this whole trailer is Christine wanting to give up, right? And she's like, I'm done. I don't want to be married anymore. And you have Meri consoling her and basically telling her that she can't give up. And that's the part where I feel like Meri is doing this because she has to and not because she wants to. And it's that brainwashing that's a part of polygamy that makes these women believe like they can't leave.
Meri, I can't do marriage with Kody anymore. I don't want to.
You don't get to give up like that.
I don't want to do it anymore.
You have Christine now, the third wife, on the brink of wanting to leave this marriage. She is done. She has gotten to a point where I'm guessing the kids are getting older. Truly's like 10 or 11 years old. And you're dealing with a fractured family. The pandemic has certainly not been made things better. She had to go through an entire surgery without her husband there. And then you've got Meri trying to console her and tell her that she cannot give up. In terms of like their heaven or their afterlife, they have to be able to stick together for them to get to that next level in the celestial kingdom. Now, he could theoretically let both of them go, but he has to have X amount of wives to get to a level in which he's in the celestial kingdom with his wives. You need to have at least 3, if not 4, maybe 5 wives. And now you have one wife wanting to leave, another wife that's been basically like kicked to the curb. And then you have these other 2 wives where Robyn still loves him, but Janelle and him are transactional. So, and I think Janelle would stay in this relationship regardless because it's just convenient for her life. It doesn't matter to her. She doesn't need him and he doesn't need her. So you start to wonder like how much of this is pressure for them, not because they're happy, but pressure to stay because of the covenant. Pressure to stay because they can't leave or they break that covenant. And then pressure to not have their families with them. So Christine can leave. Her family is out. Her mom is out. She's got aunts that are out. Meri's mom is not out. So she's stuck. If she wants to have a relationship with her mom and her siblings, she has to stay married to Kody or else the family will shun her. So for Meri, it's a life of being completely alone and not having a husband and just being miserable so that she can have her mom and her siblings. But if she wants to find happiness, she's only 50. She could theoretically find a new partner. She won't because she's got so much to lose. And Kody's just a jerk and won't cut her loose. He could cut her loose and then the family might not shun her. It's just this like push and pull, but then he doesn't want to look bad so that he might not potentially be able to get another wife down the line. It's just a big fat mess. And Kody's the one that's complaining like, oh, they're always fighting and the women are miserable. How much longer can they actually live in this type of situation? To be frank, people in my comments on my last video were like, I think this is all a setup. I don't know, you guys. I honestly think they're miserable. I think a lot of families that live this kind of life are miserable. I've talked to enough ex-polygamists to know that it's a miserable life. There's not a lot of happiness because of the jealousy, because of the separation, and because of the loneliness. And I think all of them need to leave. I think Kody should be the monogamist that he wants to be with Robyn and stop faking it. And I think Meri and Christine would just be better left by themselves and finding a spouse that will love them wholly and not have to share. Tell me what your thoughts are of all of this and what are you looking forward to in the coming season. Bye, guys.